Hello everyone. I welcome you all. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Shweta Jain and today we will be presenting the future of AR, and today our presenter is Mr. Aman Shah. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you guys have any questions during the presentation, you can type it in the chat box. Without doing further ado, I would like to introduce our presenter, Aman Shah. He is an AR developer at HP. I would request Aman to take over and guide the students.
Thank you.
I will be making.
So, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Am I audible properly?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, okay. Hi, everyone. So, my name is Aman Shah, and I work at Hewlett Packard Enterprise as an augmented reality developer. So, it's been an year I'm working with. I graduated, so I'm working as a full-time in HP from 1 year. And before that, I was interning with them. So, it's been like 1.5 year of tech journey. Before that as well, I graduated, so I was doing a lot of internships. I did some research internships in IITs and other fields. So that's about brief introduction. So what are major technologies I work with are augmented reality and AI. So I like to have a combination of both these technologies because these both technologies goes hand in hand because with one another, like augmented reality cannot exist without AI because the core of augmented reality is AI and computer vision. So what we'll be discussing today is how what AR currently has to offer and what can we see as a future of AR, right? So any questions before that we start? I want to know about you as well, right? Why do you want to learn about AR, or if have somebody can type in chat like what interest they have in AR or why AR interests them. I'll be happy to take questions on that. So let's see what how futures look with AR. Okay. So all of us have been grown seeing sci-fi movies, right? So this what actually can happen using AR technologies. Currently, it's very far away because of the hardware issues that comes with AR. We need immersive mobile devices which may make this happen, but currently it's work in progress. Many researchers are working on that. So it will be, I think, 5 to 6 years, we can see something like this. There are some prototypes which are currently available, but not as immersive as we see in sci-fi movies. So, what do you feel about like what AR technologies can give us is right? It can give us a world painted with data. You can get insights from anywhere with just seeing at them. You can have geo encapsulated data where you go out in the world, see something, you know what it is, how where it originated from, and many other details can you see through AI technology. So what I see as a future of AI is everything around us will be contextually painted with the data. And what I contextually painted means is they know what it is actually, and it is not just an overlay of image on the camera. The AR field started before, right? When it's started in way back in 1990s. So how it was just an image overlay over the camera feed. But that what is not actually AR is. AR is a technology that allows to augment real world objects and enhance your experience with information. And where I mean augment on real world object is it knows what the surrounding holds for it, what's the plane is, what's the surrounding lights are, what are the plane area, what are the vertical planes, what are the horizontal planes. If I talk, so it knows what it's seeing and then it augment it on. So in this picture you can see, right, it's a panda sitting on my desk. So it knows where my desk is and it knows what's the flat surface it needs to be augmented on. So this is AI. And you can try this on using search any animal on Google. Google now has this feature where you can augment the animals or other 3D models on your physical world, right? So this is AR in very layman terms, right? Have a information layover on a real object and interacting with them is AR. So what AR has currently we can use, or what AR is currently industry is going, right? So I'll say augmented reality is very hot right now. If you see, all the companies are investing in heavily, right? If this is some statistics from what be the AR evaluation by 2025, the most will be in video games because it gives you an effect of reality that you cannot have. So what AR games can offer you is, right, if you have a cube in the object, you can, but having a AR headset or a smart glass on your eye, that cube will look like some kind of cannon or some kind of gun or some kind of grenade that you can throw and play around. So imagine the type of gaming experience you will get by having an AR headset on your eyes, and imagine your whole physical world will transform into a game arena, which is very different what currently VR has. VR is calculated virtual world which you will go and interact with. It doesn't have anything to do with your surrounding. But AR is can bring a virtual world to your reality, and it can interact with the real objects present inside your real world. So there are a lot of industries which are heavily investing in AR, which comes with healthcare, engineering, video entertainment, retail, and many others. So what currently AR market size hold is, right? It's 8.9 billion US dollars, which is growing rapidly. The most accessible form of AR right now is your hand devices. You can open your camera and you can interact with them in your real world. AR glasses are also there, but the AR glasses comes with a heavy price, so they are not very consumer centric. It is very popular in the industry where they have more business value they serve, but we'll see cheaper AR glasses in coming years so that it became more consumer friendly. Let's talk about some augmented reality use case. Every tech giant is have an AR specific department where they're working on. Google is working on smart glasses. They have their own library called AR Code. Facebook has Spark AR, Oculus Quest, and many other different departments. They work in AR and VR. Apple is supposed to be planning on an AR glasses, so they're gonna come in some years. We are waiting for them. Microsoft is having a very high industry for HoloLens and AR related market, and they are heavy, like they are putting so much money in it. HoloLens 2 and other stuff around what they are creating are immense. Like have you can have a so real experience with HoloLens 2 that you cannot even imagine. Right. Yeah. But as these companies are growing, so what are the use cases we can work or we can leverage with them? Right. The most important use case, according to me, is disruptive education system. Right. It will disrupt the whole education system, how we tend to learn, how we learn. Right. If you there are some psychometric and some research has been done where the researchers have shown, right, you only remember 20% of what you hear after a week and 30% of what you see, but you actually remember 90% of what you do. So that's why in industry, the hands-on experience, hands-on learning is given more importance, but it is very costly to give at a scale. Like even if you want to do a hands-on experience for a particular asset in an industry, that asset is actually very costly. So you cannot have your whole workforce trained on it. So that's why the hands-on learning experience is very costly at the moment. But with the augmented reality technology, you can disrupt this whole market. You can have immense learning experience. So starting from the children, right? Children has a very great grasping power and they actually learn from what they learn from their surroundings. So augmented reality can have an exponential growth inside the learning curve of children's. And even in the other area which I see as very immense growth in education with especially in augmented reality is healthcare, right? Healthcare education is very costly and it comes with a risk of life as well. So the picture you're seeing in the upfront here is in the top section, which is actually John Hopkins Hospital surgeons performing an augmented reality surgery. They have been assessed with Microsoft HoloLens 2, and they've been guided throughout the whole surgery through where the position of actual nerves are, what are the positions of the screws needs to be placed. They are doing some kind of surgery where some metal rods needs to be implanted, right? So the HoloLens or the AI technology was giving them exact guidance, right? Exact where they should be. And this doctor shared their experience, right? How it was. And they said they were pretty amazed. And they said it is very efficient in terms of how they perform surgery. And it is very easy to perform the surgery as well. They don't need to find out where the nerves are because they're actually seeing where the nerves are. So, but this can only happen with AI coming into the picture. So there have been uh, several neural networks that were giving them this data. Imagine how like tends to have these learning experience from 2D diagram or even video, right? But imagine what you can actually learn when you can see them in real life. You can see the holistic view and you can deep dive into the structure of anything from a human body or something. Then you can actually start correlating. Then the retention power will be so great that this is proved by the some science studies that it is the person is more likely to retain when they have been used in augmented reality or VR technology to learn rather than the same topic taught by normal ways, which is audio, video, textbooks. So these were, I think the Stanford University did this research where they have like 125 students having like same caliber and same grades, same background mostly. So they divided, like separate them as a group. They created like they trained some of them with augmented reality and VR headsets, and some were taught normally. But they see immense growth and learning curve of the students which were using augmented reality and VR because they can actually correlate things around them with the knowledge information, right? So the education system has immense potential of AR. Okay, let's see some chat. I see some questions coming in, but there is no question, so we'll move forward. Any questions till now? We'll move forward if not. Okay, I think there is no questions. We'll move. What is auditing accounts receivable? Chandrasekhar, can you elaborate more what you wanted to ask? Chandrasekhar, like what is your question? I'm not able to get it. Can you please elaborate if you wanted? What is auditing accounts receivable? I'm not getting it. Can you? I'll skip them if not. Industries are actually putting so much efforts and creating smart workers, right? Imagine somebody doing some critical industrial application, right? This is an example from Boeing company, the Boeing company which make planes. So they used heads-on display for all the workers. Earlier, there were been a whole like this thick manual of how to assemble the wirings in an airplane. You can imagine, right? How to wire an airplane, it's so many things that nobody can actually remember because there are so much which goes at the moment in an airplane. And even if a single mistake can cost like $100,000 if goes wrong, and even more than that because plane costs are like million of dollars. So Boeing, what they did is they partnered with Google Classes and they equipped all the workforce who were doing wiring of an airplane. So every worker could see actually the where a particular wire which is labeled something like AB, which goes into the which port. And this is how they actually increase the efficiency of workers and decrease the time which was required to assemble a plane. And it was decreasing the error rate. Again, there is a video they have posted on YouTube. It's not playing though, like it's supposed to be a video here, but okay, you guys can see on YouTube. It's an Boeing company. You can search Boeing AR workshops and you will get it how they have done. It's this technology will be revolutionize any industries which deals with manufacturing and something. Bring that video. You can imagine, right? How, like, if you're doing some mission critical task, like assembling a Audi engine or a very expensive engine, so you need to be aware of which part where actually grows. Even a small misalignment in the capsules of an engine will can cost a life when somebody is driving. It's a example from BMW company where they're using augmented reality to assemble engines. So the industry person will get exact details where to put in each part, what is going right, what is going wrong around the way. So they have cameras implanted at the top of the area where the person works. And they can even the augmented reality stuff, which is powered by an AI engine, so that they know something is going wrong, so they can actually detect, even if not. So uh, this use cases are very fascinating, and these are the major use cases I also work on in my company. We develop augmented reality solutions for industry for different use cases. So this area of augmented reality is at very boom right now. There are so many companies who wanted to create a safe environment for workers and have like reduce the cost, because if something goes wrong in any engine or something which is already very costly, right? If something goes wrong and which comes later at a part where quality checks goes, they need to dump the whole part. They cannot redo it right now. So this cost companies a very huge amount. So they are investing in augmented reality to reduce this cost. So with over the time, they can reduce cost by a very high amount by using augmented reality. So there are tons of use cases other than this as well, right? Heads-up display navigation, indoor navigation. You are in a very big building, you don't know where to go. You can pop open your phone and the camera will guide you where to go. In military, US military signed a deal of $22 billion with Microsoft for US troops, special agent troops, for having an AR headset on their eyes. See the potential of what our military can do when they have the actual possession of their targets, when they have the knowledge about the surroundings, what's the and everything right in front of their eyes. They don't need to look around, they don't need to open different laptops and stuff to check it out, what's the status, what are the coordinates. They can get it right in front of their eyes. So this is the potential that AI technology can offer. Many companies are working at them right at the moment because they know this has huge potential, and it comes with a cost overhead in the starting point, but the companies are realizing that in the long run it can benefit them so much. Like a cost of a person is not more than like the whatever the cost of this headset won't be more than a cost of an actual troop of a US military or any military person. So they know if they can save people life with some technology, everybody wants to go for it. I think Indian military is also having some negotiating deals with an AR startup and within the startup India for creating headsets. So what do you imagine AR as, right? The most imaginative thing we have come from the Iron Man movie, right? It is the whole Marvel series. If you see, they have been showcasing augmented reality in their everything from Iron Man suit, from Spider-Man suit, from Edith glasses and holographic images. Everything they were doing, they were involving some kind of augmented reality, and they were believing what can future hold for this technology, right? So companies are having the same vision as well, right? If you have sci-fi movies are something that gives a vision, right? So this technology, we can actually achieve something kind of Jarvis, right? With not the whole knowledge, right? Jarvis is a general AI. General AI is not something which is possible right now because it needs the knowledge from everything in the world. But if we talk about some specific use cases, imagine a virtual assistant which has specific knowledge of your business and can help you augment everything around it. If you go on the street, if you're in a factory, you will know what's the health of any asset, what's the health of any machinery, what is the output of any machinery right in front of your eyes. You don't need to go open a laptop, check on a dashboard which doesn't give you the contextual information. You need to know which area of your factory is performing well, which is not. You cannot. It's then you need to be put your brain and think about it. But with AI, the AI technology, Chandrasekhar given asking about what are the kinds of AR are there right now. Okay, so what are the kinds of AR? So you can have either smart glasses, you can have heads-up display of AR, you can have mixed reality with HoloLens, or you can have mobile AR. So mobile AR is something which is very available to everybody at the moment. Smart glasses and heads-up display are currently very restricted to the industry as they come with a cost which is high very at the moment. But in future, we can see low-cost headset as well. And if you say that that's are the types of AR, and if you want to know about like what are the different types of things you can do with AR, I can say you can do marker based AR, you can do image tracking based AR, you can do plane detection AR, which gets the plane surface of or horizontal or vertical, and then you can object a 3D model or something on that. There are 3D model special interaction where with the phones or the cameras which have a lidar sensor, right? It is very specific to the iPhone devices right now because they have the lidar sensor which can sense the surrounding with a infrared rays, so you can have a spatial understanding of your surrounding. Then you can display something on top of this that spatial data, or you can have a 3D model based talking based on a CAD data, right? If you have something like CAD data of a machine or a vehicle, that's what the industries are majorly using to have something display on a real big machinery or a car, which is they're using 3D model track. So these are some kind of, and there is also geospatial AR, where you tag the information with a specific geolocation, which was majorly used by Pokemon Go. So Pokemon Go was based on geospatial AR. You go to a particular place, then only you can see that Pokemon. So that was a geospatial AR. And marker-based AR are where you scan something kind of QR code, then you get the layover of the 3D model and the information. That is marker-based AR. Image-based AR is same as marker-based, but instead of a QR code, they used any image which you feed in the system before. To and yeah, these are some types of AR. Heads-up display are displays which projects light directly into the retina so that they augment how we biologically see things. So they just merge light rays that project directly on our retina so that we can see something in front of our eyes. Lenovo had a new product named Lenovo Think Reality. Okay, so this was majorly focused to have a productive environment around you, right? Imagine like what we use to have to workforce as a we have multiple displays, we have multiple things around us to assist with. We want to dual monitor setup. With this glasses, you don't need actual monitor, right? You just wear this monitor and you can see all the windows you wanted in the AR in front of you. You don't need an actual monitor. It is augmented directly into your right. So imagine the possibilities you can go with. Like you can be so much productive. If you need to have a bigger screen, you want to project something, have a data which is very big. You want to project it big. You can increase the size. You can have multiple displays, multiple windows open in right front of you. I'm just very fascinated about how what things this needs to be offered. Right, they are very fascinating things which are going currently, and every company is working on it. Apple is supposed to be having an Apple glasses. Even Geo, right? Geo just launched a Geo developer program for the upcoming smart glasses. You can actually go and register for them right now. The registrations are open. And that is Geo Smart Glass program. They are supposed to be launching, I think, in the second quarter of 2022 or the last quarter of 2021. I don't know the exact dates, but yeah, they are preparing on them. Yep. So, which I think Magic Leap has their own smart glasses. They are having a very high investment at the moment for the AR work they're doing. I think they raised around $200 million in the last quarter for the AR deal. Their upcoming AR glasses. Oculus is funded by Facebook. Like Facebook bought Oculus Technologies for the same thing. They're having a VR and AR headsets prepared. So heads-up display are going to be a thing which we will be using regularly, like currently we're doing with smartwatches, right? We didn't imagine having a small smartphone on your wrist like 5 or 10 years before, right? The same thing is going to be coming up with heads-up display. We all be using heads-up displays in coming future. Right now, they're very bulky. The companies are trying to make them smaller size, but before we can have an actual compute, I think most of the smart glasses will be tethered by your phone, right? The computing will be your phone, and the AR display will be using wireless transmission to show your display. So I think that's going to be something that will be coming very near before we get the actual computing power in some smart glasses. Heads-up display, right? This is an actual thing which our Audi and BMW are working on. They want the navigations to be right in front of your car's windshield, right? You don't need to look into your phone when you drive because that can cause accidents. So the AR dashboards are something that companies already have developed, and but they are not accessible right now. Some companies showed them in CES 2021 and 2020 as well. So this is very you're gonna see it. This very near. I think some cars are already having that. So I think the top cars are still giving you a small display, but not the full. But this is coming very close of what we. I would take like I wanted to know about what you guys feel, right? Why do you want to learn AR? If somebody wants to say why AR is fascinating to them. I would like to hear thoughts on that as well. Before we go to the last section of how you can create apps with augmented reality at the moment, and then nobody is fascinated by AI technology, I guess. Let's move forward then. If you have, ask me, we'll stop and discuss about that. So the most accessible augmented reality at the moment you can do is with mobile AR. You must all have played Pokemon Go, or even not, you have heard about Pokemon Go. IKEA is going having a full-fledged AR app where you can try their whole range of furniture before buying it. So you know where it actually gonna place in your house, what it's gonna look, how it's gonna be look with your other furniture, other themes, paint in your house. So you can try their most of the furniture using AR. And the type of AR IKEA is using is plane detection. They detect the plane and then place the furniture on top of it. So you need to scan the floor first. So it takes the flat surfaces, then you can move the chair around or any furniture around as well. You can buy their app. It's free. I think for currently they are only on iOS because they are using ARKit. So yeah, before we see right, what are the things you can use at the moment to create AR apps. So some of the stacks which can you use with AR app depends on what kind of knowledge you already possess, right? If you are a native Android developer, you can use Kotlin with AR Core. You can develop using the AR Core SDK with Android Studio and Kotlin and have a app built inside it. If you are a native iOS developer, you know how to code in Swift, go for ARKit. They have a huge potential with the iOS market. But if you want to do something which is cross-platform, right, you can use Unity AR Foundation. So Unity AR Foundation is nothing but the combination of AR Core and ARKit. They put a layer on top of both of them. So they, based on the platform, they chooses something else like AR Core or ARKit based on the whatever phone you're running on. And but for that you need to code in C Sharp. You can learn basic C Sharp on how to do game development with C Sharp with Unity, and then you can actually create some immersive experience using Unity. This is the platform I use for developing AR apps, Unity, because it has very great potential. It has you write one thing and you can ship it to both AR Core, Android devices and iOS. And if you also get familiar with how Unity works and how you code in Unity, then you can also create apps for HoloLens because Unity has a plugin which is MRTK where you can develop apps for HoloLens, and HoloLens development can also be done using Visual Studio in their native Windows development platform, but that is something which is not currently much used. The Unity gives you a very flexibility in how you can use 3D models, and it's basically a game engine. So it's give you all the functionalities you need to have to create games. You can think your surrounding as a game. You can have things placed once you have the whatever you're using, right? If you're using an image target or you are using a marker based or you are using a plane detection. So taking that as a game development platform, right? You can create immersive experience. You can have everything what you want inside a Unity, and it's very flexible to use as well. So and it not has much a steep learning curve, but yeah, you still need to know about basic game development, how things works in Unity, and then you can create apps inside Unity for cross-platform both Android and iOS. Do you guys want to know more about how you can actually create an app with an Unity or something? We can talk more on that, or if not, you can. I'll leave my social links in the chat. You can contact me, and I can guide you where to learn these things.
I
Uh,
guess one of the question have been dropped in the chat box.
you cannot see like it's what kind of AR you mentioned.
Yeah.
I think I covered it. uh,
Okay.
before. So there are some JavaScript libraries as well where you can create web AR. So web AR is something that you don't need an app for. You can use your Chrome browser to generate a web AR interface, and it still takes your camera feed, and it's based on JavaScript, all the web AR. So some of the companies which has worked on web AR are something they have. If you want to try a painting, I know a company, so they have a web interface where you can scan your wall and then you can have a painting. The companies basically they offer custom paintings or they offer. Okay, what is the difference between AR and VR? So Chandrasekhar, difference between AR and VR is VR is where you interact inside a virtually created environment. The VR don't have any knowledge about what is around you. You will be inside as a person in the virtual environment. Uh, if you have played games in VR, right, you won't know about what is around you. Will be based you the movement inside VR will be based on sensors, and there is no knowledge about what is around you. But in the AR, it's opposite to it. Like it's not opposite, but it's actually the AR has a knowledge what's around you, and then it's interact with the real world objects with uh, virtual objects placed on them or interacting with them. So if you want to have an AR, if you have an AR room, like so in the walls will be actually your real walls. The objects will be placed on your actual real wall. But in case if you have an VR room, so in VR room it will be a fixed kind of room where which is it doesn't care about what is around you. It is actually coded as a game. You just see the camera feed is your the VR headsets and you take it from there. So this is the basic difference between AR and VR. VR don't have any knowledge about your surroundings. It is a virtually created environment where you interact with virtual objects. Augmented reality is where you interact with virtual objects in your real 3D world, real world, or you act or interact with real world object as well. So that is the difference between AR and VR. Am I clear, or you need to have a more understanding on that? Can we mute somebody? Unmute and then talk to them as well?
They have questions and they want to unmute, they can definitely go ahead.
Yep, okay, so how to build impactful AR and VR experience on the web. So for web, there are, I think, WebGL, there are libraries you can use in JavaScript. So first, building an immersive AR VR experience, right? You need to think about what you actually want to achieve with that. Which you can use any of the available SDKs, right? But first, you need to decide what you want to have through that web AR. You want to create a learning experience, you want to create a guidance system for something. You need to think about the what real world objects you will gonna interact with. Is it gonna something an image, right? If you there are some authors, right, who have used this technology to create AR books, right? So you have the same book which you get as a printed module, but inside that you get some markers, right? Then you can have like if you scan those markers through your web interface or any app, you will have the experience of our author what they actually want to see. If there is something a video or something they want to show, so you can play the video from the by scanning the QR code. So building AR VR experience is actually more about first you need to think what the impact you want to have with the AR VR. You need to be very clear on what business you want to have through. If I say if you want to have an example of IKEA, right? IKEA wanted to you to try the furniture before you buy. So they use plane tracking system so that they have the knowledge about what's the available space in your room. So you track your floor, then the app will launch and the object or whatever the furniture is, right? And right, impactful AR VR comes with also with some design principles that you need to follow, right? You cannot you need to think about how it will look with an open camera, right? Because you don't have the full display here. You need the camera to see everything around you as well. You don't want to block anything with the wild. So that comes with all like how you design your AR VR apps, like how the transparency of the object goes or how the uh, placement of any buttons or any things you want to have so that it doesn't obstruct your field, how you want to show the information on your 3D object, what is your place in, what kind of animations you want to know. And when you're building an animation, what is the orientation will be there of the object. If a person is seeing from the front and you're animating at the back, it won't be visible. So you need to have that visual guidance as well when you develop a impactful AR VR. So it is actually about how well you structure your AR use case or VR use case and what your user can do with it, right? In case, like, let's see how data visualization can be done, right, with AR. You must have seen some kind of this 3D maps in your books or in any blog where you can just see this 3D data. You cannot make sense because you cannot imagine. But imagine if this maps come into your room. You can see through every detail. What's the height of the plane is? What's the depth? What's the breadth? So you have the 3D feel. Okay, you cannot imagine a 3D object in a 2D screen, right? So imagine if you can actually have that whole map on your table and you can make sense out of it. So this is how you need to think about what is the use case you want to target with AR VR. And then there are some guides that you can follow for having a good visual guidance as well. HoloLens development comes with, you can either try it on the actual HoloLens device, or it gives you an emulator as well for Windows where you can actually try it out. These are some platforms you can leverage to develop AR apps. You can search them about on Google. You will get the whole guide, how to start, how to install the softwares, how you can actually get started with. So try developing some AR apps for you. So for me, my journey started when I was in college, and I saw some video, something which had a AR smart card, right? The business card we give to somebody, right? So I thought to create a AR based business card. So you have the details and everything, right? If you go just give your business card to somebody, you just have your number, name, and contact information. But if you placed a QR code at the back of that business card, where you can actually then scan, and then it can actually give everything about you, your different projects, your something which you want to show, some video you want to play, or anything. It's then whole imagination you can play around with. Some companies do that with their products. They have Fanta did it. The Fanta had a QR code at their bottle. You can scan it, and they will have a different experience that you can share. How do you drink a Fanta, or what you can do with Fanta as well. You need to with AR. It comes how you can imagine things as well, right? How you want to see as a futurist, right? You all will be futurist if you come into AR technology. You want to imagine things how you want. You imagine your head, and then you use AR tools to create it in reality. That will be from me, guys. If you have any questions, please unmute yourself and ask. We can have a good discussion on that. This is all. Thank you all, guys, to attend this webinar. And please, I would like some feedback as well. If you have anything, I would be happy to get some feedback on the webinars. Over to you, Versu.
Thank you so much, Aman. We will it was a really great experience, and we appreciate you being here. And if anyone does not have any query, then I would like to close today's session over here, and we will see all of you next time. Thank you, Aman.
Thank you.